Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all well. I've got my cup of coffee and I've got my slow stitch, and I thought I'd bring you along for this. So I hope everybody is well and had a lovely weekend. I did do a video, but I wasn't happy with it, and so I'm starting again. But I did start with this video, with this project with filming it, and then there was just something, I just wasn't, in the frame of mind, and so I didn't, I've started again. So I thought I'd bring you along at this point when I'm feeling happier with it. So I hope you enjoyed. I'm just going to check everything's in frame. I'm going to move that out the way. You don't need to see that. So I hope you enjoyed the last video that I did relating to, oh, I can see a needle there. Is that my good needle? Yeah, it is. Okay, I'll put that there. Relating to plans for the future. I'm showing you some, antique and vintage book things and books, and I can't speak this morning. Come on, Julie. Yeah, anyway, I really feel uncomfortable in front of the camera like that, but I thought it was important just to say hello, and it was time, and I'm glad I did. I do feel uncomfortable watching it back as well, but it's just one of those things, you do it and you just hope that people are kind and what have you. So anyway, I've got my beautiful vase. Well, there's one going over there and there. Beautiful vase, and they smell amazing, of sweet peas. And this is probably my last little posy. I don't know. I when I came back from my holiday, this is what was on there, and I picked them 3 days ago, so they're going over a little bit now. So I'm hoping I might get a few more. I've been out there watering the last few days because we haven't had any rain, as far as we haven't. And just pull one of those flowers off. And yeah, it's just lovely to see them bright like that. I didn't expect to see any when I came back. Anyway, digressed. So as I said, just pull this. What's going on here? Oh, okay, right. So what I've done is I've used up, I took all my some of my fabrics away with me, and I did nothing. So when I came back, I decided I wanted to use some of my eco-dyed, plant-dyed cloth, and I was going to make a project. And then I was inspired by the sunshine, the beaches, the turquoise sea, and the beautiful skies, and the pebbly beaches, the sandy beaches, and everything. And so this is what this is. It's just sort of a little take on memory of being at the beach and looking for shells, which I did. Maybe I'll show you them. Anyway, I backed 2 pieces. This is 2 pieces of separate cloth, and I've backed it onto some felt, some soft felt, just to give it, when I'm sewing, and you get that nice bumpy effect or rippled effect. And then I've put a piece of lace as a sort of frothy waves coming onto the sand here. It sort of worked, but it could have been a little bit more organic looking. But I'm not trying to create something realistic. I'm just trying to work with what my memory, and do sort of an impression of what I saw, and make it beautiful, and do some slow stitch, and just enjoy it. So that's what this is. So I've probably chatted too much, so I'm going to carry on, and I thought you might like to join me, and I'm going to do some more slow stitch. So I did a bit of slow stitch here that I took out, but it was basically these, and I suppose they represent clouds, so I might do a little bit more of that. I mean, yeah, maybe I'll put something else up there as well. I don't know yet. We'll see. I didn't really want something I didn't want to try and for it to be, you know, an attempt at realistic clouds or anything like that. Whoops. Right, let me do let me see, where am I going to put it? I don't want them like uniform. I think I'm just going to start here and just do a few stitches. So as I say, I hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a nice weekend. It was quiet for me. It's been quiet since I got back, and I'm intending to take myself out and get some fresh air. I've got a lot of gardening to do. I want to do some seed planting for next year's flowers, and but I do need, in order to do that, I do need a warm place for them. Or, well, initially it doesn't matter, but I will need something like a greenhouse or something like that for them to ultimately germinate. Otherwise, I just throw them in the ground, you know, something like that. Right, as you can see, I'm just not really thinking about what I'm doing here. I'm just doing it. Just creating little pockets of stitch using this Perlé thread, and like I said to you, I'm not intending for this to be realistic in any way, shape or form. It's just a little nod to maybe some clouds in a beautiful sky. There we go. And I think I'm going to leave it there. I don't want anything to... no, maybe I'll do something here. So yeah, I'm a bit all over the place with it, but I don't mind. I might do some cross stitches, you know, something going across as well, just to solidify the sort of look of it. But I might not. I don't know. I'll think about it. So I hope you've managed to find some time for creating whatever it is you're working on. It's difficult, I know, to find the time, and you know, when you work full-time or you've got children or whatever, I think of myself as lucky, because I do have the time. And I intend to use it wisely. So there we go. Right, so that's one little area. Now I'm just wondering whether to put some birds, you know, some little V birds in there, or whether that's a little bit, I don't know. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee while I think about it. I don't know. Little V's. Maybe instead of that, I'm just wondering whether to, if I don't have, I couldn't yesterday, and looked for a darker blue, a nice blue that I could incorporate. I found this, but I do want something darker, and I don't know if I have a darker thread. I did have, but I don't know if I've used it all up. It was like a nice mid blue. Let me just double check, see if there's anything in here. I don't think there is, but you never know. The alternative is maybe to use what are these threads here? Right, so these, I've got the turquoise there. I could use that. That would look quite nice actually, maybe. Yeah, let's try a bit of that. Just do a little bit of stitching with some turquoise, because it was a turquoise, especially the sea was very turquoise. And this is a beautiful colour. I do need to buy myself some, these are all mostly well, I don't know, but quite a lot of them were vintage. I don't know if that one is. I can't, I sort of mixed them all together. But, yeah. So I did have a lovely time in Greece, on Rhodes Island. It was, you know, I think I've mentioned before, I used to live in Greece, and so I know the culture to some degree. I mean, every island is different with its own, you know, unique personality, and Rhodes was very much, there were a lot of things about Rhodes that I didn't, you know, that were new to me. I have travelled around a little bit in Greece, you know, in some of the islands, but not hugely. So it was nice to see something a bit different. I think what I'm going to do is just follow, I don't know whether to do any more of this, but I was thinking I'd just follow this line here with some stitching, and I'll maybe just do, I don't know whether to do, oops, I don't know whether to do some, yeah, I think I'm just going to follow this line and try and highlight it in a way, see how it works. So yeah, it was lovely. I mean, we stayed in Old Town, which is the sort of around the medieval fortress within the city. It's sort of like almost like a city walls, if you like. It's called Old Town, so I don't think it's, well, it's not a city as such, but yeah, the walls were a unique feature and dominated the Old Town. Beautiful, beautiful, you know, buildings to look at. And I just, you know, it was a bit overwhelming at times. It was so hot. But we, you know, we managed. There was one day that I just, you know, found myself getting too hot. But the rest of the time I managed to stay in the shade, and when I needed to, what have you. It was about 30 degrees, which was too hot for me. But we managed, and we had a lovely time, as I said. We swam in the sea and we swam in the hotel pool. It was a real treat, you know, to have a holiday in September like that. And it was very, very much an adult focused holiday, which I'm not used to. I'm used to having holidays with my grandchildren, and prior to that, well, I am. I mean, I've been away lots of times on with just adults, but it was very much an adult-based, focused holiday. The food in the hotel was beautiful. The breakfasts were absolutely mind-boggling. There was so much choice. We went out mostly. We did have a couple of evening meals in the hotel, but we went out for dinner quite often to the tavernas and what have you, and had some lovely Greek food. So it was really nice. We made the most of it, you know. So, and I recommend, you know, learning the history of the wall of the fortress, because I didn't go in depth with it, but you know, there is some really interesting history behind it all. And yeah, just fascinating. And that's sort of the different cultures and influences that you can see around Old Town, and I'm sure around the whole island. We didn't travel around, we just stayed fairly local. I know that, you know, a few people said to me that Lindos, recommended Lindos, where the Acropolis is, and that sort of thing. And I would have liked to have gone, but we didn't have time. You know, we did as much as we could within the days that we had there. But I would go back to see Lindos and the Acropolis there, and maybe do an island hop, if that's possible. Well, it would be possible, but yeah. So yeah, didn't see a huge amount of wildlife. Sorry, my threads come off my needle. We did see some geckos and quite a large lizard animal or reptile. I don't know what type of lizard. Somebody mentioned the name of it, but I don't know what it. Very few birds. There was mostly sort of their version of a magpie, which was around the pool quite a lot of the time, which was really interesting. Drinking the water from the pool. It was a freshwater pool, but still I'm sure it had chemicals in it, and I was a bit concerned, but I'm sure they've done it for a long time, and so, you know, and then there were little, what we call in Europe, I don't know whether you in other sort of places who call them sparrows, but they're sort of like a common little brown bird. They're very sweet and tiny, but very, you know, they were at one point very common in the UK, and less so now since you know, the sort of problems that we have with pollution and what have you, and habitats. But yeah, I suppose, I guess, you know, we were mostly in the main town, so I guess we're not going to see a huge amount of wildlife, but it was nice to see some of the local birds. And I pulled that tight. Right, okay, I made a mistake there. I'm just going to pull that out because I want a little bit to be able to... What's going on? Yeah, there we go. To just... That's very pretty. It's such a pretty colour. Yeah, I want a little bit to end off. Cast off. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Can't think of anything while I'm doing this. But yeah, very nice place to visit. And I haven't been abroad since the times of COVID, so just cut them off. Not because of that, just because, you know, I've had holidays in the UK, and I've enjoyed them, and I didn't want to go abroad, but it's reinvigorated my wish to go to explore other countries, which is nice because, you know, I was sort of getting a bit landlocked. I'm just wondering, I've got a tin here with lots of beads, and I'm just wondering whether to add some. I think it'd be quite nice to add some here and there. I don't normally add beads. These belong to my daughter, and she didn't want them. So, and I gave quite a lot to my granddaughter, but I'm left with these. I think these would be quite nice as, you know, on the sand. So I think I might use them for that, but I just want some more texture in there. Just wondering whether to add something. I think that's too bright. Nothing like that. Ooh. Netting. Got some blue netting here. No thought of putting that in. No, I don't think so. I don't know, you know, I think that's quite nice when it's flattened down like that, sort of. I don't know about couching it, that's the, I don't think I want that brightness of it, I just want maybe a hint of it. Let's cut it and see. Just want a bit of it, you know. I don't want to rip it, I want sort of more of a controlled. Quite like that actually. Let me just pin it into some sort of ruffled effect. Yeah, quite like that, you know. And pull it up a little bit, it's not all straight, and then I could maybe, yes, I'm going to use it. Now I didn't think I would, I thought I wouldn't go there, but I actually like that. It gives another texture, and it also gives that lovely sort of blue. And then what I think I'll do is start to create more of a rippled effect down here with this colour. So I'm going to carry on with some of this. Now what did I do with my needle? There. It's 3 left there, I'll just pull that one out. There we go. Yeah, happy I found that. And I could maybe put some beads in between there as well. I did feel that the white was a bit too much, so I think that helps a little bit. I'm working on the, you know, intuitively, or just do you say on the fly, where I'm just adding, I'm not thinking too much about it, I'm just going with what I have, and hopefully that will. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to carry on with this, but maybe I'll try and make it a little bit less straight and wobbly, and make it a bit wobbly, the line, so it's not quite so perfect. And then when it comes to getting to the bottom bit, it will hopefully make more sense than just some straight lines. I was really surprised. I took all of this with me to do some work in Greece. I thought I would have these moments to myself, and it never, I mean, it never really happens that way. I mean, I read one book, I took 4 books, being fairly optimistic that I would be reading a lot. And I had all my audiobooks, you know, in my phone and everything, and I read 1 book. And I couldn't quite believe that, you know, I'm a big reader, and had all these plans to read lots. Oops. Yeah, so that was a bit of a surprise. But I think I was just absorbed in being in somewhere new, and I was very tired in the evenings. I couldn't go out late or anything like that, you know, sit in the cocktail bars and things like that. I just couldn't do it. You know, in the evenings, sort of 10 o'clock was the latest I was out, and that was mostly for dinner and a wander, and that sort of thing. Parts of the old town were disturbed by what I would have thought would be, you know, tourism is a tricky thing because you want to meet the needs of various groups of people. However, in a medieval site like that one, there were, you know, loud bars that were just simply out of place and culturally not doing any favours for the city, for the, you know, the place. And I couldn't help imagine apparently there was part of the fortified town held knights that protected it, and I couldn't help but think that, you know, although they weren't there at the end because they were moved out away from Rhodes, but I couldn't help thinking if they had been there, they would have been absolutely appalled. You know, it was sort of sports bar, loud music, and not in all places, but just in a couple of places. And I just thought, this is so not appropriate for such a beautiful backdrop, and more than a backdrop, but, you know, a beautiful cultural place. And the shops were, again, you know, some of them not so much out of place, because tourism has to play a big part in Greece because of the economy, and it's where the biggest amount of money is coming in. You know, it's when shipping, when things changed for the country in terms of the wealth, in terms of shipping and what have you, then, you know, they needed another area and of economy, and, you know, tourism is it. But yeah, I couldn't help feeling that the planners, the mayors, or would have thought to just be more mindful of I guess because there were so few, if you went to a place like Falaraki, which is on the island, and it's very much a tourist spot where young people go, and it's loud music and bars and, you know, clubs and things, whereas the old town isn't like that. But it does have, as I said, a few of those elements to it, which just, for me, just don't belong there. But they're obviously trying to appeal to a wider audience in the old town, maybe spend a bit more money. I mean, I guess that, you know, they would have weighed up, well, who's going to spend the money? So anyway, that's, you know, how it is nowadays. I guess people are making money, making decisions based on a variety of factors. So, but yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful place, and you can imagine the place being occupied by, you know, medieval people. It's a very visceral, well, for me it was anyway, a visceral response to the walls, the thickness of the walls, you know, the beauty of them, and the seriousness of the place. You know, it would have seen battles, and the knights, as I said, the knights, they were removed, I believe, by the Turkish, when the Turks took over. I think they removed them and sent them off to different places, or maybe they just went off themselves. You know, they realised that they couldn't fight, and so had to go, you know, seek asylum elsewhere. And I believe they went all around Europe. I mean, I might be wrong in this. I mean, I didn't study enough, but that was what I thought had happened. But please correct me if I'm wrong. And I think they went to Spain and France and Italy and lived in just different places. But I don't know what happened to them, you know. I don't know whether they settled or, you know, integrated into... Where's the other piece? Should be another one. Yeah, so that, it was very interesting. But I wish I had maybe researched a little bit more than I did. But obviously I can do it in hindsight, and I can also place myself there, you know, in that respect as well now. Okay, well, I'm going to have to take off a little bit more because I can't find the other piece. It's probably in my... But yeah, I'd be interested to learn more about it. Where I lived previously in Greece was an island called Spetsis, or Spetsi, as some people know it. And this had a history too, obviously, of war with the Turkish people. And the what was interesting about it is one of the captains of one of the ships was a woman, and her name was Bouboulina. Oh, do you know, I can't remember her name, but she was somebody Bouboulina. And she was an admiral on a ship that went to war with the Turkish people, and, you know, or tried to defend. And she was a real heroine for Greece. And there's on the island, there is a lovely museum dedicated to her. She was very much a respected admiral and helped to repel the Turkish soldiers from different areas in the Mediterranean Sea. And so, yeah, she's very much celebrated as a hero or heroine. And as part of, you know, the Spetsiots are very proud of that heritage and connection to the Bouboulina family, and in particular her. What's her name? Something beginning with A. Right. No, I'm going to sew this on. Right, but I'll use a different colour, and I want to dot something in that, maybe a bit of white or something, or cream or a paler colour, and just dot it in between that just to give more texture. Oh, is that the... No. Okay, I'm going to put this on. I'm trying to think what to... just sort of... There we go. Doing a little bit there. Maybe in the middle there. There we go. I think that's fine. And I think I'm just going to use white thread, this, just because I want it to be subtle. I don't want to, you know, the yeah, I think I'll just keep it like this. And if I want to add any of this, the thicker thread, you know, the perlé, then I can. But at the moment, I think I'm just going to use this and see how it looks. Probably won't see it anyway, but we'll see. Right. I'll just bring it up a little bit. So that was me, you know, gabbing on about Greece. I have a lot of stories about my time on the Greek island. I lived there on and off for about, well, six, almost 7 years, which sounds like a long time, but it was very much on and off. You know, I kept coming home. I found it very difficult living on a small island. So it was very beautiful and very popular with the Athenians, who, because of its proximity to Athens, used it as their, or use it, they still do, as their weekend playground, and so have pushed up prices of housing and, you know, prices of food, things like that on the island. So it's an expensive island, even though, I mean, it does have some very nice hotels and things, but yeah, it's pushed up the prices basically. Right, I really like that, and I like what I've done now with the, you know, the way it's lying on that there. Right, let's have a look. I do feel that this isn't quite what I want. I'm getting a bit warm actually. I'm just going to take my jumper off. There we go. That's better. And I haven't drunk my coffee and it's gone cold. Okay, so I feel like I want to maybe use something in between there, but I'm not sure what. And what I could do is maybe go over it with, no, I think I will. I think I might use a different colour. What about this grey colour? I think I'll try this, see if it works. Let's see if I can do something. I don't want to touch this beautiful line here, so I'm just going to start here. And let's see. I should have put a knot in it. I've got some lovely cosmos growing in the garden at the moment, which I'm very happy about. Just you know, providing some late or early autumn colour and some late summer colour, if you like. Like I said, I think a lot of my plants have gone over now, but I've still got a little bit of lobelia and calendula, things like that growing. But having spent 2 summers now, well, a summer and a half, I didn't have the full summer last summer here. I only had, and I wasn't in a mind to, I mean, I had plant pots that I'd brought with me and full of plants and things, but, you know, I wasn't sure where things would thrive and go. And so I've got a better understanding of the garden and where things are better placed. So I'll be moving things around and making changes next year as well. But I do want to, as I said earlier on, I do want to get some plants and flowers in now, some seeds in, sorry, to, you know, to get things moving for early next year. I've never done winter planting like that. You know, I've always relied on seeds that I plant in spring, but I don't know if it's true, but I suspect it is. People know what they're talking about. But you know, a lady that I was listening to in terms of gardening, she was saying that, you know, planting cut flower patches now will be beneficial. You'll get much stronger plants. But there's a fine art to it in a way, because if for instance, planting sweet pea now can often make them leggy when it comes to, you know, they sprout earlier and what have you. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I think they know what they're talking about far more than I do. And, you know, it's often trial and error with these things, so you've just got to give it a go, I guess. I do have quite a few seeds left over from a couple of years ago. I keep all my seeds. And I do gather my seeds from what I have now, you know, what I have growing in my garden now. I'll gather my seeds and store them. And right, this isn't, it's nice texture, but it's not, well, maybe it is. It's just that stands out a lot more. Quite like it. I'll keep going. I'm just going in wavy lines across. And hopefully, the turquoise is beautiful, but I feel like it dominates and I want a little bit more of the you know, less. Oh, nice and quick. Getting to the other side. There we go. Okay. I mean, it breaks it up a little bit, I think. Yeah, it definitely does. Okay, well, I'm gonna leave it at that. Oh, that'll be fine. Now let's have a look. What else? So maybe some beads, I think. Hi, I'm back. So I've been doing a little bit more work on here, and I've put some beads on. Oops. As you might be able to see. I'm not sure if I like them. I've done some more stitching along here, the bottom there, some wavy stitching. I've done more stitching here. And I think I'm going to leave this just as it is. I don't think I'm going to do anything with that because I like the colours, and well, I think I want to leave a little bit just contrasting the plain. But I am wondering, I've collected some fairly neutral, there's a couple in there that don't belong in there, but these are sort of fairly neutral beads, and I just thought maybe I would add these to there's one in there. Oh dear. it's gone off on its travels. So yeah, I just thought I'd add some beads here and then see how I feel about them. So I thought maybe you could join me. So yeah, I've never really been one for using beads in my work, but so I'm not sure how I feel about it and whether it actually adds anything other than prettiness. And prettiness is something, there's nothing wrong with prettiness at all, but it's something that bothers me when it comes to creating. And I do tend to fall back on very, not so much pretty, but very let's say, I don't know how to describe it, but I'm not good at taking risks with my craft work. I'm much better with artwork in terms of taking risks. With the craft work, not so much. And you know, I'm trying to figure out why I feel that way, why it's an issue for me. I think I should have pulled that to the side like that so you can see it's shiny. So I'm trying to stay true to how I feel about what I saw, what I experienced when I was at the beach. And it was a very hot day with, you know, sparkling water, very few clouds in the sky, but occasionally they came over, and there were white fluffy ones, and then they soon disappeared. So there was nothing threatening, and you know, there's no rain threatened. It wasn't it was a beautiful time on the beach. So I can get one of these white ones. Fiddly. That was just a bit of a ramble, wasn't it? I don't even know what I was trying to say, really. So what I'm trying to do is I've just, you know, I put these beads on down below, and do I want them? And if I do, if I want to keep them, am I going to, by adding more at the top, does that make me feel any better? And I think about using them, and I think we'll see what this brings about, this, you know, the use of them in these little clouds, you know, sparkling. That's what I'm trying to say. Oops. So there we go. That's the plan. And I thought, well, I'm near the end. I can bring you along, and if I don't decide that I don't like it, then I'll just pull it out and I'll do something else there. I do love sparkle. I just don't use it very often in my work, but I do like it. So yeah, I think that's really pretty. So now I'm just going to end off here and then skip across. I don't want big long threads across the work. I don't know why, but nothing wrong with that. But yeah, so I just thought I'd do this and see what it looks like, and then what's next. You know, am I going to leave it like this? Am I going to keep working on it? Do I want to add any other things? Oh, went through both of them then. I'll do one down here. Just try and spread them out a little bit. I might need some more, but there's plenty there. I could even put some in here where the waves are, you know, crashing on the shoreline. Not that they did crash. They might have crashed at Windy Beach. Oh dear. Keep talking about Windy Beach. Yeah, they might have crashed there against the rocks, but they certainly didn't crash on the pretty beach on the last day. It was very gentle and beautiful to swim in. Okay, so that's some there. So I'm just using these impressions of clouds to create this bead section. Put this one on. Nice big one to start with. I'll try and have it on its side so we get the nice reflective effect. I'll go for a little white one. So I hope you you know, you like the idea of this, and maybe it will inspire you to do one. I mean, you know, if I think back through the summer, there are so many nice you know, sort of images that I've taken on my phone that I could use as inspiration to create more floral ones, you know, just different ones to reflect what I've seen and where I've been and things like that. So I think, you know, it's worth looking into if you've been on holiday, if you've been to a lovely place to visit with your children or your whatever, you know, your family, and you've seen something that you liked, or maybe you saw, you know, you went to the theatre or the movie or whatever it is you've done. Maybe there is something that you'd like to showcase in a little. Let's try one of these blue ones in a piece of work. I don't know how hard that would be, but it's worth thinking about. If you're looking for inspiration, it's definitely worth thinking about, because it, you know, we all get stuck sometimes. I get stuck and not sure what to do next, and I was thinking about doing something similar to what I'd done before, and I was thinking, oh, but you know, that's the same thing as I've done before. And then I thought, oh, you know, I would really like something to reflect, use up the fabrics that I had that I hand dyed, and then but reflect something that I've experienced, so that it's a nice memory. It gives me something nice to think about. You know, it will remind me of something nice, a nice time in my life. Because these sorts of things, you know, they're not going anywhere. Nobody else is going to have it. It's going to be mine to keep in my journal, or maybe I'd frame it or something. I wouldn't frame this particular one, but, you know, I could frame. If I did a series of them, I could put little frames around them. They would look nice in those 3D frames, box frames that you can buy. It would look quite nice in those. Isn't that pretty? Just show you. I think that's really pretty, and I actually like it more now that I've added, you know, I like these more now that I've added these up here. So I hope you having a nice day today, whatever it is you're doing. I had a bit of a break and went outside in the garden, but I wasn't there very long. There's quite a bit of work to do, actually. I still need to finish off the stones and the, you know, creating more landscape. But it's a tough job when you've got chronic pain issues. It's quite hard to lift heavy stones and, well, gravel. It's gravel, and you know, you can do it bit by bit, but that's what I've been doing, and it's just taking a long time. So I'd really like to get it finished. And then my project, there's two projects I want to do in the house. One is I want to paint my kitchen walls, because they're very dark, and I would like to have them lighter, particularly for the winter. Warmer and white and a lighter, I think, is what I'm looking for. And then my room here, this craft room, I want to change some things, and also I think maybe the bathroom needs a bit more cozying up for the autumn and winter. It's a cool looking bathroom with blue and white stripes and mirrors and things, but I think it needs something warm in there. Sorry, I'm just threading my needle again. so I'm probably look for some warm accessories for in there. Things like that. So just you know, have some little projects going over the winter, over the autumn and winter, and enjoy the results. I need to work on my apothecary. I need to, you know, sort of not refresh my herbs and things, but certainly there will be some that will need to be put on the compost pile, things like that, from my stores, because I have a lot, and they, you know, that some have been there for a year or so, so they need to be. I processed less this year than I would normally, but I still have enough, plenty. And then if there was any that I didn't have, you know, there are plenty of organic supplies if I needed something. So I'm not concerned, but I would like to do something with it. Right, I'm happy with that. I think maybe one more, a nice shiny one. I think I'm going to go for this one. It's big and shiny. Oh, I need to go back in there. Lovely. So yeah, those are my projects for this year, I think. I like light. I don't like dark curtains and things, so I have very light curtains, which also, you know, are not warm. So I've got to think about that as well, and whether I want to change that. Oh, right, I need to plan. Right, there we go. I think it's pretty. I think it's a memory. You know what I'm thinking? I might write something on there. Yeah, I think I might. I'm still not sure about the beads. I think if I hadn't put so many coloured ones in there, I think I might have felt better. I love these. These are beautiful, but I'm just not sure about them, and I'm beginning to think I should have just used all dark. So if I had brown, there's a brown one there. If I had more of those, it's a brown, pinky brown. That might have been better, but anyway, I'm liking it, and if I make any changes I will show you. If I add anything else, I will show you the results. I get the feeling that it's not quite finished, so I will think about that, and maybe I will frame it in some way with a blanket stitch or something like that. But I do love this. I think that's really, really pretty, and I love this. And I love the stitching in there. I think that's really nice. So I'm really happy with it. I hope you like it. Thank you for watching, and I will be back again very soon to do some more work, and hopefully tomorrow or the next day. We'll see how things go. And but it would be probably not stitching, it will be something else. So yeah, I hope you join me. So thank you for watching, and take care everyone. Bye for now.